What's up, you guys? It's James from James Reptiles. I was gonna do a snake feeding video today, but of course the corns are cooled, and the corns are my best eaters. Everything else didn't want to eat, unfortunately. So I filmed a lot of clips, and it was just them not wanting to take the food. So it is what it is. I'm just gonna rant about why I bought gargoyle geckos in today's video. But to start out, obviously, you guys know I have a Morph Market account. It's open on the computer. You can't see it. That's why I pointed at it. And I have some geckos up there. They're priced fairly well, I would say. It is cold weather. No one's really trying to buy right now because they wouldn't have to ship. Plus, no one knows who I am. All this other jazz. I'm getting hits every once in a while on some of them, but nothing's sticking. I had someone hit me up the other day. They were looking at one of them. I showed him a different one that's more expensive. It's Race Car. I'll throw a picture of him fired up on screen right now. And that's him. He's really nice. I actually bought him as a baby. He was my first baby crested gecko that I bought and I raised up. And I was planning on keeping him, but I don't have anything to go with him because everything I have has Dalmatian spots. And if I was going to do something, I'd have to buy one for him, and I don't really feel like doing that right now. It's not the best time to be doing that. So I figured I'd sell him. It's looking like I might sell him, and if I do end up selling him, that'll probably be the first gecko I do ship for real. Of course, at this point in time, it'll be at the end of the cold, rainy season because there's all sorts of temperature limits for shipping live animals. What you do and don't want to do that can affect the safety of your animal. But in today's video, we're going to talk about my gargoyle geckos and why I bought them. So gargoyle geckos are endemic to New Caledonia, meaning they're only from those sets of islands, just like crested geckos, just like leachianus, just like a lot of other geckos. And they're very similar in the care. In fact, the care is exactly the same as crested geckos. Leachianus are almost identical as well, along with some other species like chihuahuas and I believe one-line geckos. But they're basically like a nicer, fancier version. And what I mean by that is they're rare, they're bigger, they're more expensive. So if it takes the exact amount of care but they sell for more, the profit margin on breeding and selling these guys is a lot higher. Of course, you can't breed as many of them because then it affects the market. But if I bred crested geckos and had some of these guys to add to my table, people who are into crested geckos who want to come to my table are also going to be into these guys. And it's a smart business decision, which is why I had planned on getting a pair anyway. And I might have a small little group in the future as mine produce and sort of make a little breeding group, and then I can sell some and buy new blood and maybe have eventually like 2 or 3 males producing with some females, and at that point maybe I have like 6 or 7 crested gecko males. Who knows, whatever. But I wasn't originally planning on. I just peed on my leg. I wasn't originally planning on buying the female when I did, but I was just happened to be at the store, and you guys might have seen that video. They had her, an adult female, for $200, which is a really good price for an adult an adult gargoyle gecko. Stop pooping on me, dog. You will not see an adult female at that price, especially right now when they're a little bit more rare than they will be in the future because everyone's kind of deciding they like them and they're getting into them. She's currently pushing a poop out on my hand, so that's going to be icky. And so I saw her for sale, and I said, you know what, that's perfect. I'll get her. I'll end up finding a male somehow or another, and I'll produce a couple, have them on my table, keep a female or 2 back, and get a new male, and it'll be perfect. And then I was trying all sorts of stuff. I was hitting up people if they had males, if my buddy wanted to go in on a male and get some of the babies, and then I could, start pulling from that and all the jazz. But everyone was on the fence. No one really wanted to do it at the time. They were like, you're not going to find an adult male, blah, 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 this, that, whatever. They're too expensive. And in my research, they were as well. I was finding out the same stuff. You can't really find an adult male at this time. It was so random that I found an adult female that it was a needle in a haystack, and finding a male was going to be possible. Well, luckily enough, I can't move my hand too much because it's got dookie on it. I happen to be friends with a lot of gecko people in the community, and Sam from Sam's Geckos happened to know. Gosh, I can't even remember his name. He has a gecko company as well, but he hooked it up with this male, 275, nice red stripe on it, and it's an adult. It's definitely, it wasn't. It was maybe not quite full size before, but I think it's definitely put on at least 10 grams. I remember in the first couple of days it put on like 6 or 7 grams, but it's definitely at least put on 10 grams now. And even though they both have regens, that didn't matter at the time of buying them. Because if you're buying a gecko to breed it, if it has a regen, who cares? You're not selling it. The regen's not going to affect the value because you're not trying to get a value out of it. You're just looking at the genetics. Now there is the fact of, well, if it had a kink tail before the regen, sure, I'm taking a chance there. But at the end of the day, if the babies all come out healthy, that'll be fine. If some come out with kinks, I'll sell them as pets. I'll do whatever I got to do with them, and I'll call that good. But they're both adults, and they should be laying eggs hopefully shortly. I'm waiting to see some activity from her, some burrowing. I put a lay box in there, and I put her in it, make sure she knows it's there, so she knows, hey, I have a place to dig now. When I put her back today, I'm going to put her right back in there, and hopefully she kind of gets the idea. And really, the reason I did this is I'm always looking to expand, to fill up my tables, to make extra money, to make buying tables worth it. And if I can, bring 2 or 3 baby crested, I keep saying crested, gargoyle geckos to the tables at shows, and I, sell them for $100. $100 is basically what the table costs at most shows, give or take, depending. But that's about what they cost. And driving, you just jumped on a poopy hand, or you tried to anyway. And of course gas, and if it's in the bay, tolls, and all sorts of that fun stuff, disposable cups, all that jazz, mileage on the car. Getting something that I know will sell is just, icing on the cake. It's more reason to go to shows. I'm not having success selling online yet. I haven't had my name out there. I don't have a nice camera, all this jazz. But I'm definitely trying. I'm definitely getting there slowly but surely. Eventually I'll get a sale and it'll go good, and I'll have a rating on my Morph Market store or whatever. And I'll know how to ship at that point. And hopefully by then I have another show or two under my belt. Daily City show is February 8th and 9th. I'll be vending that show with Armando. Armando will be vending at my table. Isn't that crazy? He's over there making thousands of dollars off his MBKs and his dry mark on. And I'm there paying for the tables and letting him work on them. Of course he pays me for that, and after that is the Lodi show. I believe it'd be the next one after that, which is in March. That one used to be ran by Sam AJ. That one's not. He I believe retired. He actually moved to Nevada to raise goats, or Arizona, or something like that. So that's got a new guy. I did that show last year with Mono. That was my first show. You keep jumping and you keep missing. Hopefully I'll have some babies by then. February show, there's no way I'm gonna have babies by then. She hasn't had eggs yet. Of course, even if I had babies, they wouldn't be sexable at that point, and I'm raising up the first couple of babies as long as I can to figure out what gender they are, because I am gonna keep back females. As soon as I think they're a male, I'm gonna sell them. I'm having that issue with crested geckos. I sold a couple. I probably ended up selling females because I have so many males at this point, it's improbable. Of course, it's 50-50. You can hatch 100 and end up with 100 males. It's possible, it's definitely possible, but it seems like my luck's not doing so great this season. Hopefully next year, maybe I produce a bunch of extra females, who knows. But I've got a lot of them raising up. Adults sell for a little bit more. If I price my adults more than I price the babies, but less than other people price adults, I'm still making good money. And hopefully that just goes right back in. I have a spreadsheet on my computer that says all the percentages, and 50% goes right back into reptiles. And to think about that, if only 50% goes back into reptiles, if I sell a gecko for $50, only 25% of that goes back into geckos. So if that gecko costs me any more than $25 to raise, I'm losing money in the hobby. And at that point, it's going towards a savings account. It's going towards bills. The rest of that the other $25 from that 50 is going towards bills and all that jazz. But that'll be money going out of my hobby. So realistically, if it takes 25 to raise it up, and I sell it for 50, I'd really only want to spend 20 to raise it up, because then I make that 20 back, and I can put 5 in as profit, and maybe I save that 5, and eventually I buy a new male or something like that. And that's just kind of how I'm running my business at this point. James's Reptiles. It's technically not a business. Well, it is and it isn't. I have a resale permit, but I don't have a business license. So technically, I can buy geckos and sell them all the same, but I can't claim it as a business, and I can't trademark the name James Reptiles, which is unfortunate, but no one's going to steal it. I mean, it's fairly unique. No one I know actually takes the name seriously, which is kind of fun in my opinion. It's a hobby. I know if I can breed animals well, and I know I can, I believe in myself in that aspect, then people will recognize me as a good breeder, and they're not going to care what the name is. And that's just going to prove my point that, hey, I can name it whatever the fuck I want, and my animals are going to sell. Nevertheless, I'm James from James Reptiles. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I've got poop in my hand I gotta go throw away, and it's all over my legs. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want to see me get pooped on some more. Hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter if you want to see pictures of my awesome geckos. You can email me at jamesreptiles@gmail.com if you have any personal questions, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.